today I'm going to be talking to you about proper nutrition for runners. Since everything we eat and drink has an effect on how we perform, running requires a plan of attack for all the foods that we consume. It's hard to enjoy running when you're feeling bloated and weighted down. In order to get the best possible outcome and maintain your endurance during your run, you need to be eating the proper foods. Nutrition is also key for your recovery. You need to concentrate not only on what you eat, but also on what you're drinking. Now, let's begin to talk about the bulk of a runner's diet.
A runner's diet should consist of whole foods, as they contain a higher nutritional value than processed foods. Some good examples of whole foods includes chicken, fish, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, low-fat dairy, and fruit. Now let's go into further detail about the foods you'll be eating and talk about macronutrients. Macronutrients are nutrients that provide us with energy through calories. Our bodies require 3 macronutrients: carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Carbohydrates have 4 calories per gram, proteins have 4 calories per gram, and fats have 9 calories per gram. A runner's plate should contain at least 50 to 60% carbohydrates, 20 to 30% fats, and 20 to 30% lean protein. Carbs are the backbone of a runner's diet because they are what fuel the workouts and nourish exhausted muscles. Some carbs present greater value than others, so be sure to make most of the carbs you eat whole grains, fruits, and vegetables. Now you need to know that there are slow and fast carbs. High fiber carbs, or slow carbs, like fruits, vegetables, and oatmeal, are slowly digested. This means they deliver long-lasting energy. Slow carbs are going to be the primary part of your diet, but right before or after your run, you will need to opt for a faster carb. Fast carbs would be foods such as pasta, white rice, and potatoes. These carbs are lower in fiber and they will be digested quickly to provide fast energy. Now that we have went over the importance of carbs, let's move on to proteins. Proteins are also important for a runner's diet. Protein is essential for muscle repair and also helps in regulating hormones. So the further you run, the more repair your muscles are going to need. I stated earlier that your diet should consist of 20 to 30% protein. So here's how you will determine how much protein you should consume. If you are running a greater distance, you will need up to 1.5 grams of protein for every kilogram that you weigh. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you will take 150 and divide that by 2.2 to get your weight in kilograms. This would equal 68 kilograms. Then you would take the 68 kilograms and multiply it by 1.5, the amount of protein needed. This equals 102. That means throughout the day, you will need 102 grams of protein. The protein you will be consuming should be quality protein that is lean. A few examples of lean protein would be chicken, fish, eggs, tofu, and nuts. Now that we have covered protein, let's move on to the last of the macronutrients, fats. Like I mentioned before, 20 to 30% of your diet should consist of fats. This may sound like a lot, and you may think fats are not good for you, but really they are. As long as you are consuming healthy fats, and healthy fats are known as monounsaturated fats. You can get these types of fats from olive oil, flaxseed, canola oil, and avocados. These healthy fats have actually been linked to a decrease in heart disease. Now you know what your diet should consist of. How often should you eat? In order to keep your metabolism moving and also keep your blood glucose levels more stable, you will need to eat smaller meals more often. Try to aim for 3 small meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Also include 2 to 3 healthy snacks throughout your day. The timing of your meals is also essential to your performance. If you do not have enough fuel for your body, you will not perform your best. For your best performance, eat a meal rich in complex carbohydrates about 2 to 3 hours prior to your run. I would also like to mention a few micronutrients that are very important for runners. Micronutrients are an essential group of nutrients that come from vitamins and minerals. They are consumed in small amounts. It has been said that distance runners need about 70% more iron than the general population. Iron is essential for transporting oxygen to the cells and for muscles function. Some foods that are rich in iron are red meats, dark leafy greens, and poultry. It is good to combine these foods with foods that are also rich in vitamin C. Vitamin C helps to absorb the iron more efficiently. Magnesium is also another important micronutrient. Magnesium helps with muscle functions, lactate acid clearance, and electrolyte balance. A few foods that have a good source of magnesium are avocados, eggs, and sweet potatoes. Two other important micronutrients are sodium and potassium. These help balance electrolyte levels and fluid levels. This will help avoid cramping and dehydration during your run. Some foods that are rich in potassium are bananas, potatoes, and spinach. To make sure you are getting all of the essential micronutrients in your diet, make sure to have a colorful diet with fresh fruits and vegetables. Now, you're probably wondering what you should eat before your run. Well, that depends on how long your run is going to be. If you plan on running 60 minutes or less, try eating about 200 calories of low-fiber carbs about 30 to 60 minutes before your run. Eating the low-fiber carbs will help with your energy levels and the food will digest quickly. If you plan on running for more than 60 minutes, you will want to eat a little more, about 350 to 550 calories of low-fiber, low-fat carbs. Eat this meal about 90 to 120 minutes before your long run. So you have prepared yourself for a long run. But what are you going to do during your run? In order to maintain your blood glucose levels, while you are running, your body is gradually breaking down the storage of glycogen. The storage is only available for a limited amount of time, meaning you need to restore it. You can restore it by simply consuming about 60 grams of carbohydrates every hour you run. This can be done by drinking different sports drinks. They also have gels and chews. If you are running in a race, check ahead to determine how far apart the water stations are. You can then plan your stops accordingly. Also, find out what kind of drinks the race will be providing. Most sports drinks contain about 15 grams of carbs per 8 ounces. This will help you determine how much to drink during your race. Now that you've finished your race, you will need to recover. In order to recover quicker, eat a small snack with a 4-to-1 ratio of carbs to proteins. Try doing this within 15 minutes of your run. Then, within 2 hours of your run, eat a well-balanced meal. So that covers your nutrition for before, during, and after your race. We can't forget about hydration. When exercising for a long period of time, like running a marathon, you must stay hydrated. If your fluid balance is not maintained, you can become dehydrated. Your body temperature can increase, and it can impair your performance. So now you're probably asking yourself, well, how much fluid do I need to take in during my races? First, you can do the sweat test to get a good idea of how much fluid you are losing. So before you go on that run, it's best if you get naked and then weigh yourself. Then go for a run and run at your race pace for 1 hour. Make sure to keep track of how many ounces you drink. After you have finished your run, get undressed again and then weigh yourself. Then subtract your post-run weight from your pre-run rate. Convert that number to ounces. Then add the number of ounces that you consumed during your run. That is your hourly fluid loss. This will let you know how much fluid you need to take in during your race. Now the question is, what kind of fluid should you be taking in? Well, if you are running for 30 minutes or less, tap or bottled water will be sufficient. If you plan on running longer than 30 minutes, you can use sports drinks to help hydrate. Since sports drinks contain sodium and potassium, which will help you replenish your electrolyte balance. Sports drinks also have carbohydrates that will give you the energy you need to finish your run. If you are a distance runner and you run for 2 hours or more, you may want to look into endurance sports drinks. These drinks also contain carbohydrates and an extra dose of electrolytes. In addition, they also contain small amounts of magnesium, chloride, and calcium. After a good run, you will want to take something to recover. This is when a recovery drink is good to have. Recovery drinks combine carbs and proteins with a 4-to-1 ratio, which will help repair your spent muscles and replenish your glycogen levels. Now you know the proper nutrition for runners. Let's go for a run!